Okay, here we are. This is a once common IKEA product, and like many other low-end appliances made in Asia, it has a transformer here that plugs in the wall, and then the cord plugs in here. So this actually uses a GU4 style pin bulb. Problem with that is the cheapest I can find them is $6 for two. They're halogen. They create an enormous amount of heat. This light is about 7 years old, and it's gone through at least 2 light bulbs. I've had it with all the nonsense different kinds of bulbs. I ordered the GU4 style bulbs. Now they're going to be used in my car interior. So we're going to disassemble this lamp, wires and everything, keep the shell, maybe the switch, I'm not sure, and we are going to repower it for a standard candelabra base bulb that's going to fit inside this shell, and it'll have the diffuser over the face, and it will not generate nearly as much heat, and it'll put out even more light. And hopefully that bulb will last a lifetime. And our first step is going to be disassembling the protective base here. This is just another one of these hoaxes that presents a product as being green or energy saving or whatever, and in reality it is not. And I'm just tired of all this nonsense with multiple sizes of everything and not being able to go to your local department store and get replacements. Okay, I took the base off, and it doesn't look like we're going to be able to retain this. I'm pretty sure this is the 12-volt end and that this is the 12-volt transformer. Nicely constructed though. I'm surprised. There's a nice tin or lead or pot metal weight in the base of this, and I may just retain this switch for spacing to put it in the base and hold it against the switch so you can still hear the click click, but I will probably have an inline roller switch for this unit. So we're going to figure out how to separate this base that's attached to the cord, and it looks pretty straightforward here. It looks like it's going to be unclipped simply from this housing, and then we'll be able to pull it all through. Alright, let's attack it from the bottom. Looks pretty straightforward. We'll just loosen this nut and then allow the shaft to move out of the unit, and then we'll be able to pull this fixture setup out of here. Looks like it has a very thin captivated nut in there, and I don't want to damage the plastic, and I want to retain the overall looks of this machine, so I'm going to be careful with it. So this is one of those things, it's a little bit of a mystery to get off, and it does appear that this is glued or swaged in to the threaded rod conduit, and that means this is probably glued and swaged together as well. So be patient. A man designed it and put it together, and a man can figure it out. So it looks like this was pressed in here, and I have got to figure out how to loosen the nut that's very difficult to see right in here. We'll figure it out. And so here we are. I don't have a tool to get in here, but this holder certainly does come apart. So I'm going to pry this apart here carefully, both sides, and I'm going to pull the middle of the holder apart and see if I can simply get this assembly off of here without having to do any destruction of the valued shell of this piece. And unfortunately, probably because of the age and the heat that this part has endured over its several-year life, the little wings broke off, which wouldn't be a problem, I guess, if you were going to reuse this in a sealed fixture. And this does, it comes right out, and you can see what the heat's done to the wiring in there. I just don't understand the halogen thing. They generate a lot of heat. Yes, they're more efficient than a regular incandescent, but they'd sear your flesh if you put your finger on the end of just a 10-watt bulb. Alright, so now I'm going to figure out how to get this out of here, and even if I have to damage this little holder, it's no big loss. I think heat and age has damaged it anyway. And again, I want to retain all this, and I don't want to damage the shell. I want this to look just like it did when we started. There we are. That was pretty easy. The plastic literally disintegrated into little tiny chunks here, so it allowed me to get to a conventional connection here, and I'll be able to get my vice grips or pliers here on the end and unscrew this nut, and we'll take this all apart shortly. There we go. That's wonderful. That nut is just going to come right off of there, and this will go right back through the body here. See, that was just clamped on there. And then we'll take this all apart, and we will swap out the 12-volt nonsense here for a nice 110 lamp rewire kit, and put a nice, cool, incandescent replacement in here. There we go. And this comes apart really easily. I just snipped the end of the old holder off, and there's the little retainer clamp, and the wire just comes right out of the shaft, and likewise it will all come apart in the base. So we're going to put that new rewire kit in here. I think I'm going to get an extra long 8-foot cord this time as well, instead of the extra short cords IKEA loves. Alrighty, so I have a correct 18 gauge wire repair kit here, and I put my little shortened fastener on here for the candelabra base. I even shortened my cardboard insulator, and I've correctly stripped the ends of the wires here so I can simply put the candelabra base itself on. And again, I've correctly routed and tightened everything back up the way I found it, and I'll be assembling this first, and then I will put the dummy switch in here, and we'll turn it on and see how it works. And when you're fitting or retrofitting these kinds of parts, just be patient and work things in, make sure things line up like that little mount screw hole. And I also had to tweak the fork here that this mounts to make sure I could still get a small screwdriver in here and the shell wasn't in the way, so I can still screw that together. That did take a couple of minutes to line that screw up inside the fork, but it's worth it because now this is solid and it's connected to the threaded shaft inside the lamp itself. And once again, I've revised my decision here. Rather than having the tiny roller switch, I decided to put a heavier duty unit in here that's actually a little easier to wire, especially with this odd size that's actually a little thicker than 18 gauge but thinner than 16. And I am very pleased with the overall light output here. It's now a 40-watt equivalent, and it's going to run cool, and it's actually slightly brighter than the halogen G4 that was in there. And I also like the fact that my heavy-duty switch is on here just in case, so you can manually turn that out. And it's on a little bit longer cord. I'm happy I did that as well. And of course, the reason for this being where it is it's on a switched outlet, so all the lights come on at the same time. Overall, it was worth the time and effort into converting this to a regular screw-in LED bulb.